There we are. There we are.
Yay!
So we have two guests with us today, and I'm so glad to have them with us today. And all right, so I want to introduce our guests here, and I have a little thing I wanted to read about our guests. Our first guest here. Let's see here. I guess y'all say you need to get it together, Hudson. Let's see. Here we are. Here we are. Okay. We have Essie, Tamar Essie. And let me tell you about Miss Essie. Miss Essie is an atmosphere shifter. She shifts the atmosphere. She's a singer, a speaker, and the executive woman's mentor. She does customized t-shirts and she does something else customized. She's going to show you later. And so you can catch her on tamarihesi.com. TAMARAHESI.com. Got all her pages there. What's all that noise? Something else is on, isn't it? Hmm. Something else is going on here. All right. So I'm going to introduce our next guest. I'm really excited about this young man. I harass him all the time. He tries to get away from me, but he can't get away from me. um, I was very impressed with this young man. He came to our church and spoke to us, and very enlightening. He took his time talking about health and our our wealth and our health. And he is a sport there. He does sport therapy and rehabilitation, professional boxing trainer. He does strength and conditioning, and he does something we all need. And everybody raise your hand. He does food coaching. Food coaching. Let's see. Is there anything else that we need? Some food. He does corporate wellness programs. Coaching. When I read that, I said, "Oh my God!" All this time, I didn't know he did food. I knew he did health uh, and wellness, but food coaching is what some of us raise our hand. Some of us
It comes with the territory.
it does. It all comes together.
Yeah.
So I want both of you just to greet Easy Street on tonight. We're gonna start with you, Miss Essie. Greet Easy Street on tonight.
Hey, Easy Street. I'm so glad to be here. I love you all. You already know it. If you don't, now you do.
All right, and Coach Allen.
Thank you for having me, Pastor Hudson. I appreciate you calling me. I'm glad to be of service to you all in the community.
Yes, yes, yes. Um, I'm gonna tell a little story about Coach Allen. I know you got a little delay, Coach Allen, so maybe you might not hear everything I'm gonna say. That'd be good.
I
Well,
couldn't hear you. What you say?
see, you couldn't hear me. I said I'm going to tell a little story about Coach Allen.
Oh yeah. When I showed up late, you scolded me for it.
Oh no, this is not that story. See, you have to tell them on yourself. No,
Oh, come
this is
on.
another story. This is another story. This story is when Coach Allen came to speak at the church. You know, we always give the guests a gift, right? A monetary gift. We gave Coach Allen a monetary gift. And what did Coach Allen do? He put the gift back in the envelope and gave it back.
Yeah, that's true.
See,
Yeah, that's true.
Yes.
I
Blessed to be a blessing.
yes, I never shall forget it. You might be small to you, and I'm sure it probably was small to you, but it was not small to me. It was huge. But anyway, I wanted to say that publicly because sometimes we don't always give people their flowers when we should, right? Yes. All
Yeah.
right. All right. All right. Okay. So let's go. We're not gonna be on, but only about. Let's see. We sign off at 8 o'clock. We come on at 7 and we close at 8 o'clock on the dot. So we don't stay on here all night talking about all kind of stuff. Okay. So I thought that, usually at 7 o'clock we have therapeutic session where we do wind down, we do meditation, all types of things. But this session today, I wanted to talk about trending issues because we don't want it to live in the world as if we're not here. We are in the world, even though we have to pull back and meditate and stay focused on our goals and what we want to do in life, but also we are um, affected by things that happen in the world. So I want to talk about some trending issues because we have to process trending issues. You can say all day, I know about the war in Ukraine. I don't care. Don't want to hear about it. Don't talk to me about it. It's not going to work because it's going to be on your TV. Somebody going to mention it to you. Maybe some child might ask you, well, what's going on over there? So we're not going to be closed off um, to the current events that's happening in our world. So that's why this session, we're going to talk about three different things real quick. Just get your thoughts. And so if you're on here and you want to write your thoughts, because I always read what y'all write. So if y'all out there writing, I'm going to read what you write. So just go on and write something and it'll be nice. The African American race is the only race that votes 98% one way. So it's the strongest block. You understand what I'm saying? Asians split, Hispanics split, Caucasian split, but they say that the reason they go after African Americans because they're a block and they're strong together. And if you can get them, you probably will win because they're a strong block. So they've been trying to bust up that African American voting block for many years. I'm 60 years old, so I remember back 20, 30 years ago, they said the reason African Americans all vote in one block is because they're retarded and they don't think well and they just do what each other does, and that was their tactic to bust up that block. They trying to do it for a long time. They never was able. Even let's see, Obama, he got like close to 90% black vote. So they still, after 30 years, they haven't busted up that African American voting block. So now they said, well, they gave up. Let's just pass some laws to keep them home, to keep them afraid. So it says that America is the greatest country in the world because of her citizens' unwavering commitment to freedom and honest elections. For our democracy to work, our citizens must have equal opportunities to vote, and the public needs to trust that our elections are fair. Now, there are new laws being passed to keep Americans from voting, period. Okay? One of the new laws is, I'm trying to go slow because I know you're getting the feedback, criminalizing the giving of water to thirsty voters. So if you give water to someone that is standing in a long line, you can be arrested. And we know where all the long lines are, correct? All the long lines are in the community of color. Because why are the long lines at the community of color? This is scientifically proven. We have the data because in some areas of African Americans where there were 4 or 5 voting places, now there's only one because they closed them down. Why did they close them down? So that means it's going to be long lines. So we decided that we're going to stay in line after all, and now they said don't give them any water. Okay, sanctions of profits. Any citizen, any citizen that helps another citizen fill out their form, because at one time we were going around helping people. They were knocking on doors, helping people to fill out their form so they wouldn't be afraid. They said now it's illegal to help somebody fill out the form. And they have a long list of things that they are that's in the law. You must you are reading comments from. Okay. All right. So somebody's writing me saying I need to cut off another phone. So I'm gonna go to my guests and I just want them to talk about their thoughts about these new laws that are geared are to attack African Americans and communities of color. So we're gonna start with you. Now can you hear me, Coach Allen?
Vaguely, but I heard the last piece. I heard the last piece.
Okay, so what are your thoughts, and do you want to encourage people to vote, or how are you on that?
Well, if you see yourself as a member of society or as an American, you should be able to participate in all civil activities, and have a word on any topic that affects you directly or indirectly, especially if you
Mm-hmm.
pay taxes.
Mm-hmm.
You should
Exactly.
have a right to say, yeah. So, hey.
Yeah. I like that. If you're paying taxes, then my lord, you should say something about where your tax money is going, and that's through a vote.
Exactly.
That's the only way you can say. You can talk to your friend on the phone. That's not gonna help. You gotta go out and vote. All right, Miss Essie, what's your thoughts?
Well, part of this is not new
Mm-hmm.
because, as you said, this has been going on forever. So for me, watching it forever in my 51 years,
Mm-hmm.
it's more like it's just getting just irritated. It's just
Yes.
getting irritated. It's getting
Yes.
irritating.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason for the irritation for me is that it's just the same issues, but a different day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So the things that they have been doing, they're just repeating what they're doing. They're just continuing. But one thing that I've learned over the time is that, as the scripture says, that though weapons form, they don't prosper.
They don't prosper.
They don't prosper. So
Uh-huh.
for me, my stance is yes, you should get out and put your vote in. On the flip side, they're going to do what they want to do, however they want to do it, but God is in control. So I kind of just, you know, I'm not the one at this present moment in my life,
Uh-huh.
to be marching in the crowds and begging for freedom. I already have obtained freedom,
All
and
right.
it's something that you can take from me.
Uh-huh.
So now my stance is just encouraging others to go grasp that freedom that
Mm-hmm.
no man can touch.
All right. All right. Yes. Oh, I love that. Um, we're not begging for freedom because the freedom is ours for the taking. It's for the taking. But our ancestors and our forefathers and foremothers had to fight. I don't know no other way of saying they had to fight and they died. They actually died. Died on buses, burnt up buses, hanging from trees, all of this to move, the race where it should be. I don't know if anybody knows Marcus Garvey, but Marcus Garvey said, "Let's leave here."
I'm with Marcus.
I don't know if
I'm with
anybody
I'm
familiar
with
with Marcus
Marcus.
Garvey, but he said, "Come on, y'all, let's go on back home."
I'm with Marcus. I'm
You with
I'm with
Marcus?
Marcus. I'm
What about
totally
you,
with
Alan?
Marcus.
Yeah, Marcus Garvey was a very influential revolutionary through the movement, along with others, and they all had their different philosophies and strategies, but they had most of the same thing in common. Having the every right that was given to any American should be given to every American. And especially when it came to community, finances, the right to vote, to have a say so. And I know some of them believed in separation, just
Yeah,
completely being, hey, we fulfilled our part. You didn't pay us anything for it. At least you could leave us alone in peace and let us stay over there and you stay over here. And we
yeah,
we don't want any war. We don't have to be bothered with each other ever again.
Yes.
And that's all of it is a form of finding a solution.
Mm.
You know, we've always seemed to be the more mature adult, the more humane person, the most God-fearing people to
Absolutely.
come to a solution and to do things appropriately, humanely, in the right way.
Yes.
And yet we deal with these crazy people basically, because that's crazy what they're doing.
Yes.
Absolutely.
You
Yes.
could see it for what it is, and the rest of the world speaks out against it. So
Yes.
it's just not us saying it. Now the rest of the world sees it,
Yes.
and the rest of the world is just like when things first got out, when Martin Luther King was being active and things of that nature, Malcolm
Yes.
X was being active and things of that nature, and the world began to see another side of America that they haven't saw, you know,
Yes.
because they controlled the narrative. And now in this age of information, you're getting more of information out of there. Some of it is disinformation, but you can't tell a lie without the truth.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So it's going to always find its way to the top. The truth is going to
Yes.
always find its way to the top. So you have people that are not African Americans or Native American or indigenous people of color speaking out on some of these injustices.
Yeah.
And that's a wonderful thing, because wherever there is any injustice, a person should say something.
Oh,
Absolutely.
yes, 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 yes. Martin Luther King said, injustice anywhere is injustice everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Then he said, because it will soon be at your door. So while you looking
Absolutely.
away and saying, that's not me, that happened to you, give it a little bit of time, it'll be you. That's why you have to stand up. So what is your voice today, Sister Essie? What is your voice?
It's funny that you said that tie-in, because when he said about the media, that's exactly what I was thinking. The narrative is always controlled
Yes.
by the masses, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
So in order to find a resolution, we have to learn how to control the narrative.
Yes.
Which means put ourselves in a position where we can speak what the truth is. Because as brother said, the truth is always going to rise to the top. No matter how you try to mix it in, how you try to press, the truth will always rise to the top, no matter what. And because of the disinformation that's happening in Russia with the war, and now the people are waking up.
Yes.
Though it is in Russia and it's far away from us, we're also experiencing it, because the United States of America is sending funds to, and another thing, it's just amazing to me how America finds so much money.
Come on now.
It's like we don't have any money to help our homeless people in our communities. People are, I mean, dying in the hospital because they don't have insurance being put out. But we can find not millions, but billions of dollars to send over for a war.
Yes.
That's just really amazing to me. It's just such hypocrisy.
Yes.
In this land of freedom.
Yes. Oh,
it's such hypocrisy. It's more like I said earlier, it's more irritating than anything. It's just like these nets and these flies that keep flying around, and you just swat them down every now and then, and they go down and then they come back up. It's more like that for me.
Yeah.
You know, it's like y'all keep doing stuff, and as the song said before it came on, you're not gonna win, because we're gonna win.
Yes.
And we struggle with situation, and just as we suffer with PTSD, I think we still deal with it today. Every African American that I know has PTSD, dealing with post-traumatic stress because of situations that we deal with. So my heart goes out to those people in Russia and in Ukraine.
Yes.
Russia, because of the deception and the strong hand that they have over them with all lies, and Ukraine because of what they're experiencing. So it's just, that's just, I guess that's just my stance.
Oh yeah, we hear you. Okay, Coach Allen, what you say?
I agree with what she said. I mean, you know, we could always, they used to have this old saying, there's three sides to every story.
Yes.
You know, your side, my side, and the truth.
Absolutely.
You know, so it's amazing that they did have all this money that they could just throw at this.
Oh wow, yes.
So it begs the question: what's the interest?
Mm.
You know why? Because those type of people never do nothing out the kindness of their heart. Because you know that money could have went to us.
Yeah, but
Yes.
absolutely.
Yes.
Everyday American citizen who's dealing with the COVID crisis,
Yes.
who's
Yes.
dealing with
yes.
the economic crisis,
Yes.
you
Yes.
know, all the injustices that happens with us civilly.
Yes.
You know, like the right thing could be done. We just don't have the right people in position.
Absolutely.
Wow.
You know, and they have foreign interests.
They have foreign.
I'm not condoning anything.
Okay.
I don't understand the ins and outs. I don't live over there.
Yes.
You know, the Bible said we need to pray for them all anyway and hope not to have any war.
Yes.
You know, but that won't happen until he comes.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll all be over with.
Yes.
You know, and we have to go through this right now. Everybody has to acknowledge these sins, you know, and learn from them, you know.
Yes.
But you
yes.
know, I wouldn't want to see that happen to anybody. I mean, innocent women and children. You know, like who wants that to happen? You
Right.
know.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll pray for them. Hopefully, everything works out in the future. But whenever there's so many hands in the pot, it's hard to call it. You know what I mean?
Oh
It's
yeah.
hard to call it.
Well,
Yeah, because they've done this.
absolutely.
We've seen it time and time again,
Oh,
decade
yeah.
after decade. It's like it's the same show,
Yes.
you know. And there was only one moment of peace. Now, how controversial it may be,
Okay.
but when President Trump was in office,
Uh-huh.
everybody was quiet.
He was crazy. So
you know,
They saw that crazy.
yeah,
that
yeah.
crazy.
So it was like, I guess they saw that's the same kind of guy. I don't want to mess with that guy,
Absolutely.
right?
mm-hmm.
Biden, yeah, he's a little bit more diplomatic, but Trump, don't
Yeah.
give him any excuse.
Right. Right.
Right. So they knew that, but it goes to show you the intelligence to where the buck stops.
Yes.
Exactly.
You get me? So
Yeah.
they waited for that opportunity to possibly do that because of the political influence
Yes.
that it might have caused.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because there's corruption throughout this whole entire thing.
Yes. Oh,
The
yeah.
There's
whole
corruption
system.
throughout this whole entire thing.
Mhm.
Yeah, the whole
And you
system
always
was
got to
rigged.
follow the paper trail, you know, and it'll tell you the truth.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, each news station may have the same thing. Some of them may be different. But whenever you see strategically when certain news sources are being blocked,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
then that's another tactic. That's also a tactic of warfare.
Yes.
So
Yes,
propaganda isn't nothing new.
Mm-hmm.
Insight of information isn't nothing new.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
You know, so you have that, you know, on both sides.
Yes.
Because eventually if somebody starts saying too much of one thing and the other person starts saying too much of one thing,
Oh,
we
yeah.
the people are going to start to connect the dots.
Yes.
So it's better to say one, because it's like the judge and the jury.
Uh-huh.
You have the public defendant, the prosecutor, the district attorney's office, the judge, the jury. Everybody states the facts. They get it from both sides, and then when they see it all for what it is,
Uh-huh.
you could all automatically know, okay,
This was
that
one.
was, you just made that up.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't
Yeah.
work out. That don't make any sense.
Uh-huh.
No, you couldn't prove that. You couldn't prove
Mhm.
that. So the thing is, when COVID happened, the Black Lives Matter movement happened, things of that nature,
Yes.
the people started to come together
Mm.
and call for reform and change. Not just one group of people.
Yes.
The people. These were protests done around the entire world.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
they have to control the information on both sides to keep us, the majority, out of the decision-making process.
Yes.
Out of the speaking the truth process.
Mm. Yeah.
You know, we haven't had issues with Russia since back in the Cold War era.
Yeah.
Now
Right.
all of a sudden we have issues with Russia.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And you got to question that. You got to
Yeah.
question that. And I've heard a lot of things about Ukraine. First, it
Mm-hmm.
was a part of Russia, then it wasn't.
That's
They
right.
have other agreements with other countries that
Yep.
Russia may not agree with. And then they racist towards African people, black people. So, hey,
What about
if we could think about that, I mean, it ain't our
And
problem.
you know what else is funny? They we
I'm
want our
just saying.
land back too.
I'm just saying. Don't ask me anything. Let them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
saying.
You are
In a
absolutely
time of
correct.
crisis, you're gonna deny women and children
Come
from
on.
escaping danger.
Hello. Black
Okay.
and children.
Yes. So you know.
And you know what? We want our land back too. We
Well,
want
we gotta
everybody.
be
Everybody want their
transparent with
stuff back
ourselves.
at this
Yes.
point.
We gotta be transparent with ourselves. So
Mm-hmm.
Trump used to say this thing called America First, right?
Right.
And that's when all the jobs started coming back. We was getting this money coming back. You gotta understand business. It's all about the money, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the Black Lives Matter movement at one point in time was pure, and then it became hijacked in a sense
Oh
Yeah.
my God! I'm so glad you
because
said
they
that.
seen different forms of infiltration, and they seen where the narrative changed.
Yes.
Because all other movements, they studied us so well
Mm-hmm.
to make sure we hopefully we could never rise to power, right?
Yeah.
So they were taken off guard when Brother Malcolm and Dr. King and Garvey, like year after year, the Black Panther Party and stuff like that, decade after decade, there's always been a resistance. We fighting people. We've been fighting,
Yes.
since we got here. There's no way in the world you gonna take a free person and enslave them and think they gonna just lay there.
Yes.
Mm-mm.
If you document it, undocumented, it's inhumanly possible for that person to allow that to happen. We've been fighting physically,
Yes.
politically,
Yes.
economically,
Oh yeah.
even
Mentally.
spiritually. Because
Yes.
there was a time where once we saw our identity in the
Mm-hmm.
Word of God,
Yes.
the power that gave us, the reinforcement that gave us, because we know we had a pure heart.
Yes.
It was amazing. Black folks believe in God. Like it's an innate thing. Like you born knowing you a child of God.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say this. I don't know. I shouldn't say it.
You should, and
I
you
should.
should, and I know where you're going, and I'm right
All
behind.
right. Well, I have a daughter, right?
Uh-huh.
And there was a time where, you would go to the library and they have the read-alongs or sing-alongs and stuff of that nature.
All right.
At the time, I was in Philadelphia with my daughter visiting family, and we were at this library doing this sing-along and dancing. There was a great African-American man there doing a drummer dance and stuff like that, like
Mm-hmm.
have these little props and having fun. And he was talking about the three little pigs and the big bad wolf,
All right.
and the scenario came up. Once they caught the wolf, what should we do? Eat him, let him go, send him to jail, lock him up, la 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 la. All the white children, as small as they were, 2, 3 years old, eat him, eat him. Ah! I was like,
Yeah, it's a different nature.
yes.
We
I
are
was
of a
like,
different
wow.
nature.
It can't, no hesitation.
No hesitation.
No hesitation. Our children sat there and thought for a minute
Yeah.
before they even answered.
Mm-hmm.
Boys and girls, and it was only just a few, the
Mm-hmm.
numbers. But they sat
Right.
there and thought for a minute, and
Mm-hmm.
in the meek voice, they were like, "We could hold him. Let him go,
Uh-huh.
because hopefully he learned his lesson. He stopped. We got him,
Yeah.
but when you're dealing with a different type of nature, sometimes you
Mm.
gotta judge it by what it is, not
Yeah.
by
And
what
this has
not by
been
what you're doing. That's
our
our fault.
nature from the beginning. This is how we have responded. This is how we respond over and over again. And I believe that at some point, we're going to have to respond different.
Okay. Listen.
In the,
Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, for example, now, I mean, don't get me wrong, man is man, male and female created he, then we all fall short because we need God in our life. See, there was a saying that man without God is just nothing but an animal.
Okay.
True.
Now, I could tell those children
Mm-hmm.
weren't raised in a carnal household.
Mm-hmm.
I could tell they had a moral compass. I could tell they were
Yes.
saved people. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Now, these other children probably didn't have any influence of God in their life.
Right.
So they're carnal minded.
Mm.
So, of course, they're going to lean more to their flesh than to the Holy Spirit. Of
Yeah.
course, they're going to lean more on their own intuition than what the Word of God says.
Yes.
And that's the fight, because there was a time you couldn't see black folks in a bad light.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
until
You knew they were good Christian American people. You seen a black man in a suit, you thought of Martin Luther King.
And you know what
You
changed
seen
it?
a woman carrying herself well, yes ma'am, no ma'am, Mrs.
Uh-huh.
You know, you ain't call her a female dog name.
No.
You know what changed it?
That didn't happen. You know, so there was a warfare being done culturally, a shift being done culturally. And the Bible talks about that. Let's not bound the strong man.
Uh-huh.
He could bind the whole home.
Yes.
So our strength is in our spirituality. Our strength is always going to be in our relationship with God. Because when you're there, God will make a way for you. And there's different people to fight on that behalf.
Yes.
You know, this thing is big. You know, at one time in the UN, even China themselves said, don't ask us for nothing until you start treating black people right. Y'all can't point the finger at us and say, well, we're not doing when y'all doing this.
Yes, that's right.
Now, the best thing for us to do is be on our best behavior. Mm-hmm. Get back to our personal relationship with God to where we can have favor and love within our community and amongst ourselves.
That's it.
You know, because the people now, the generations now, two things are happening. Either they're unaware or they're unequipped to deal with the responsibility of having a community. Yes. Because I grew up inside a community. I grew up in New Orleans, Louisiana. All right. And, you know, there's people that grew up in the same neighborhood that their great-grandparents were.
Oh, yes.
So we were so close to where somebody could see me and identify me by my phenotype that I belong to such and such family. Yes. That's rare now. Everybody's in apartments. Everybody's separated from one another. That separation is a serious thing. Right? But that community came with a certain
identity,
and it was a etiquette.
Yes.
It was a certain etiquette.
Yes.
And we knew because those things was betrayed in the household, in the school, in the church, and in the neighborhood.
Yeah. Right.
That culture was everywhere across the board. Everyone knew to be respectful to their elders. Everyone know not to get out of line too much. Mm-hmm. Everyone know not to gossip as much. Yeah. Don't curse out loud. Don't steal. Something happens. You know, we knew it was a thing we knew. So now, because I think people strayed so far away from God.
Oh yeah, I think that's it.
That's the problem.
Mm-hmm. True.
Yeah. That's the problem because they so far away from God. See, God had to put his angels around about us because we obeyed his law. And that was a promise that God made. Yes. So the abolitionists were people that there were non-African American people or people of color that also believed in God and humanity. And when they saw us being exactly like them, yes, fearing God, loving God, and being about family and country, no, it's wrong what you're doing, these people. Yeah. You
Yeah.
lying. They're not savages. They're human beings. They're not. You get what I'm saying? You had to prove to demean me, to criminalize me.
Yes.
And they had white folks that stood up for that. They'd be like, no, these people are Christian like us.
Yes.
You know, these people abide by the law like us.
Yeah.
If you do that to them, then you may be able to do it to me. You can say anything.
Right. Now, Sister
Right. So that came out like it's you have to have the knowledge.
Yes.
You know, so when you get that knowledge, you become calm.
Yes.
Because you already know. I already know who the supreme power is.
Mm-hmm.
So men can argue all day. If it ain't what God lined up, y'all both wrong.
Right.
Absolutely.
I think that you're right. You hit it right on the head there. There's so many gems that you dropped on us. I'm just so appreciative. And Sister Essie, you were saying something too about that identity.
Yeah. She sure did.
Yeah, it's
did.
important. And it's funny how our identity was tainted. It
Yes.
was tainted through media.
Yes.
It was tainted through movies. It was tainted through songs.
Yes.
It was tainted through visuals. So it's the same tactic that they're using in Russia.
Yeah.
Where they're creating a narrative and it's all a lie.
Yes.
And they tainted it so bad that we saw ourselves different than what God said we were. Because not only did they feed us that, but we ate it. We ate it and we consumed it. And then some of us became it.
Wow. Yeah.
So it's media is a very important tool, but it's also a dangerous weapon.
Yes.
You know, so which is why it is important for us to become. Because when we become, God raises us up into a certain position.
Yes.
Where we can be seen, which is why he said that light, let it be put on top of a hill so that it can shine.
Yes.
Not hidden.
Yes.
That's why at this present moment, what I feel like is necessary in order to continue to solve these problems is I'm not going to fight your war the way you fight.
Okay.
I'm not going to fight this thing the way you fight it. But I understand what makes this country and this America and these foundational platforms tick.
Yes.
And it's money and war.
Yeah. Yes.
So either we're going to get the money so that we can position ourselves, or we're going to strap up and we're going to go to war.
Okay.
So and just personally, we're going to have to choose which one we're going to do. Personally, I've chose to let me get this money. So I can put myself in a position that I can be a funnel for God to pour through me.
Yes.
So that while they're sending their trillions over to another country because of a war, that, as brother said, they have their hands somewhere in there.
Yes.
It's somewhere in there.
Yeah. Yes.
So let me get the money and be a funnel so that I can get it to those who I know need it, that are kingdom fighters.
Yes.
So that we can become strong in that way.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you know,
go ahead,
brother. Dr. King. Super intelligent, and he knew that, you know, hey, they itching for us to get violent. Because that gives them the excuse.
Yeah.
Right? To galvanize. You're gonna always have the minority of a few radicals.
All right.
But that American public, where that sector is, give me a reason to act devilish.
Okay.
And I'll do it.
Okay.
Oh, they all bad? Good. I've been wanting to go out there anyway.
Yes.
Right? So Mark was like, man, we got billions of spending power. We still have trillions of spending power today. And black folks, for maybe less than a month, a week, decide not to give their money to nobody. Everybody gonna want to be your friend.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They did the boycott and shut down private and government businesses.
Sure did. They did.
Across the board.
Yeah.
Started the old thing. See, the thing was that power and that control. By him being able to shift that economy.
Yes.
and dry them out, now they want to have a conversation.
Yeah.
Now they want to talk.
Mm-hmm.
That's their language.
Yes.
That's one of the languages, because it's a necessity.
Yes.
You know, and it's parasitic almost. So that's a tactic that we have to be aware of. First, we got to get control of our own minds, and the only way we could do that is having the mind of God, the mind of Christ, because that's our nature.
Yes.
And there was this saying, you can't be the honest man. You know why you can't be the honest man?
Okay.
He's not gonna do anything unhonest to get himself caught up into something. If it don't line up with what's right, he's not gonna participate. That's why you can't never be the honest man.
Okay.
Hey, let's gamble on this. You may have a chance. Oh no, I don't gamble.
Yes.
Hey, such and such doing this. What you think about it? Maybe we should create an alliance. Nah, I shouldn't gossip or get into that. That's their own business.
Yeah.
You can't be the honest man, because he ain't gonna get into foolishness.
He's not gonna get.
He's honest. He's just.
Which kind of it kind of lines up with what you're saying. The scripture that came to mind was when Paul said, I become all things that I might win some.
Yes.
It's almost like you have to be crafty through wisdom's funnel. Not crafty through evil tactics, but crafty through the funnel of wisdom. Yes. Because God is very creative. He God knows how to get to his people where he needs to get to his people.
You know, we gotta come back again. It's already 8:00.
Oh, almost. I thought we were gonna talk about Will Smith.
We're right. 4 minutes and counting.
Right. We got 4.
I'm praying for that brother. He had a mental breakdown on that day.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I want to say
that's not his character at all.
Yeah, we're gonna get on that just a little bit, but before, because we're gonna have to close down. But I want to say how much I have enjoyed both of you. I mean, I'm telling you.
Thank you, Pastor Hudson.
We gotta do
enjoy
part
being
2.
Here, Pastor.
It's got to be part 2, because I was trying to write down some stuff. It was just too much. But I want you to know a lot of people are joining the conversation. I want to welcome Sister Cheryl Williams is joined. Brother Carl Stewart is joined. Ricky Ellis, that's Pastor Ellis is on. So many, I didn't get all the names, but the conversation is so good. People are joining and want to hear you. And I love that both of you came from 2 different perspectives, but you ended up with spirituality.
Absolutely.
Following God. And that's what we have to learn in our communities, that we can come from different perspectives. It's okay. We don't all have to have the same perspective, but we all line up with God. And we all touch our spirituality, we will be all right.